Valve just announced three new hardware devices: a console, a VR headset, and a controller. On the surface, this looks like another attempt to break into the living room, another Steam machine that will probably fail like the first one did in 2015. But if you understand what Valve is actually doing here, this isn't an attempt, this is endgame. While Sony and Microsoft have been fighting over market share in a shrinking console market, Valve built an entire parallel gaming ecosystem. And they're not trying to compete with PlayStation and Xbox, they're making them irrelevant. Let's decode what just happened. This isn't about hardware, it's about infrastructure. Steam Machine, Steam Controller, Steam Frame. Notice the naming convention. Everything is Steam, not Valve, Steam. That's deliberate, because what Valve just announced isn't three separate products, it's one unified ecosystem with three entry points. Let's break down what each device actually does. The Steam Machine is a compact gaming PC running SteamOS. It's 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck. It targets 4K 60 FPS gaming with AMD FSR and ray tracing. It has either 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes of storage depending on the SKU. It's essentially a console-sized gaming PC for your living room. Steam controller, redesigned with dual thumbsticks, trackpads, gyro, grip buttons. It has a 35-hour battery life, and it works across all Steam devices: the deck, machine, frame, and PC. The Steam Frame is a standalone VR headset running SteamOS. It's Snapdragon powered, and it plays both VR and non VR games. It also supports wireless streaming from PC or standalone play. Here's what makes this different from traditional console launches. Every device shares the same OS, SteamOS. Every device accesses the same library, your Steam account. Every device uses the same controller ecosystem. Every device can stream to every other device. You're not buying into fragmented hardware, you're buying into one platform with multiple form factors. Buy a game once on Steam, play it on Steam Deck handheld, stream it to Steam Frame VR, play it on Steam Machine in the living room, switch between devices mid session. This is the promise Apple makes with their ecosystem, but for gaming, an open platform. Sony and Microsoft can't do this. PlayStation hardware is locked to PlayStation software. Xbox hardware is technically more open, but they're transitioning away from dedicated hardware anyway. Valve just executed the unified gaming ecosystem that everyone else talked about but never built. Valve isn't launching with 15 exclusive games, they're launching with 50,000. This is the structural advantage nobody's talking about. When PlayStation or Xbox launches new hardware, they need exclusive titles to justify the platform. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars on development deals. They negotiate timed exclusives. They build first party studios. Valve doesn't need any of that. Steam has over 50,000 games, decades of PC gaming history, every indie hit, every major release, every mod, every early access title. That entire library works on day one. No ports needed, no re releases, just install and play. PlayStation 5 offers PS4 backwards compatibility. Xbox Series X offers backwards compatibility to the original Xbox. Steam Machine offers backwards compatibility to 1998. You can play Half Life from 1998, Skyrim from 2011, Elden Ring from 2022, and whatever indie hit launched yesterday on the same device from the same library. And here's the critical part: you already own these games. Console transitions always require rebuying your library, new hardware, new purchases. Nintendo is notorious for that. Valve's ecosystem doesn't. Your Steam library transfers completely. Every game you've ever bought, every save file, every achievement, every friend connection. That's not a feature, that's a moat. Hidden in the technical specs is something massive that most coverage glossed over. The Steam Frame VR headset runs on a Snapdragon processor that's ARM architecture, not x86. Traditionally, that would mean it can only run games specifically compiled for ARM, which is almost nothing in the PC gaming library. But Valve is using FEX, a transition layer that allows x86 games to run on ARM hardware with minimal performance penalty. For decades, PC gaming has been locked to x86 architecture, Intel and AMD processors. That's why Apple's M series chips struggle with gaming. They're ARM based, but they lack the compatibility layer. FEX changes that equation fundamentally. If Valve can get x86 games running efficiently on ARM through translation, they unlock better battery life. ARM is dramatically more power efficient than x86. Lower heat generation, smaller, quieter devices become possible. Mobile integration, the entire smartphone ecosystem becomes potential gaming hardware. And lastly, cost advantages. ARM chips are cheaper to produce at scale. This is the mobile gaming convergence. This is the long play that nobody's seeing yet. Valve isn't just making a VR headset that runs Steam games on ARM. They're proving the technology works. They're building the compatibility layer. They're training developers to optimize for it. Once FEX matures, suddenly every ARM device becomes a potential Steam platform. Your phone, tablet, future handhelds from other manufacturers, all capable of running the entire Steam library. Apple spent years trying to bring gaming to ARM and failed because developers wouldn't recompile their games. Valve is bypassing that problem entirely. Translation layer means no recompilation needed. The entire existing library just works. This is how you build the future gaming platform, not by forcing ecosystem adoption, by making your platform compatible with everything that already exists. There's one more announcement Valve hasn't made yet. Valve just launched 3 new hardware devices, all running SteamOS, all targeting early 2026 release. They need a tentpole launch title, something that justifies hardware investment, something that demonstrates compatibility. Half Life 3 isn't a question of if, it's when. Valve doesn't release games often, but when they do, it's always tied to platform goals. Half Life 2 launched with Steam, making digital distribution mainstream. Portal showcased the Source engine physics. Half Life Alyx was designed to demonstrate VR capability. The Steam Machine launches in early 2026. The Steam Frame VR headset launches alongside of it. What better way to demonstrate both devices than a game that works across both platforms? One that shows off SteamOS optimization, that proves the ecosystem concept. The Game Awards are next month in December. Valve's hardware ships in early 2026. That's a 2 to 3 month gap, perfect for pre order momentum. Announce Half Life 3 at TGA, exclusive launch title for Steam ecosystem hardware, pre orders open immediately. Hardware ships Q1 2026 with Half Life 3 as the killer app. It's such an obvious strategy that it would be shocking if they don't execute it. But knowing Valve, they probably won't. Valve has been silent on Half Life for years, not because they abandoned it, but because they were waiting for the right platform moment. This is that moment. If not at TGA, then I expect an announcement later this month. The console war ended. No one told Sony or Microsoft. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are competing for the same shrinking pie, fighting over exclusive titles, racing to incremental hardware improvements. Meanwhile, Valve built a different game entirely. Console manufacturers make money by selling hardware, often at a loss initially, taking 30% of every game sale on their platform, selling subscriptions, Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, and negotiating exclusive content deals. Valve makes money by taking 30% of every game sale on Steam, selling hardware at profit margins, and not paying for exclusives because their library is already massive. Sony and Microsoft need consoles to succeed to make their model work. If PlayStation 5 fails, Sony loses their gaming revenue stream. Valve doesn't need Steam Machine to succeed. They already have 130 million active Steam users. The hardware is bonus revenue, not foundational. That's an unbeatable position. They can take risks Sony and Microsoft cannot afford. The console value proposition has been eroding for years. Exclusive games, most now released on PC within a year. Better graphics, high end PCs always outperform consoles. Simplicity, Steam Deck proved PC gaming can be console simple. Price, Steam sales make games significantly cheaper long term. The only thing consoles had left was the living room form factor, the TV gaming experience. Steam Machine takes that too. A compact PC that sits under your TV. It runs Steam games, uses a proper controller, costs roughly the same as a console. But with the entire PC gaming library and no subscription required for online play, what's the console value proposition now? Valve won by not playing the same game. Sony and Microsoft have been fighting over who can sell more plastic boxes with marginally better specs. Valve built an operating system, a distribution platform, a hardware ecosystem, and a compatibility layer that makes all of it work together seamlessly. They didn't try to beat PlayStation and Xbox, they made them obsolete. The Steam Deck proved the concept. 3 million units sold. It spawned an entire category of gaming handhelds. It demonstrated that SteamOS works outside of desktop PCs. The Steam Machine, Steam Controller, and Steam Frame are the expansion phase, taking that proven concept into every gaming format: handheld, living room, VR. And behind all of it, 50,000 games, 130 million users, decades of PC gaming infrastructure, and a technical foundation that works on any hardware architecture. When people realize they can access their entire Steam library across handheld TV, VR, and PC seamlessly, why would they buy a lockdown console? When developers realize they can publish once to Steam and reach all of these devices, why would they negotiate exclusive console deals? When FEX matures and ARM devices can run x86 games efficiently, why would anyone build gaming hardware on power hungry x86? Valve isn't entering the console war, they ended it. The next 5 years won't be about PlayStation 6 versus the next Xbox PC hybrid. It'll be about traditional console gaming versus the Steam ecosystem. And one of those has 50,000 games, open hardware, no subscription requirements, and hardware at every price point. The other has exclusive Spider Man games. The war is over. Valve won. Most people just haven't realized it yet. Steam Machine launches early 2026, probably alongside Half-Life 3. By 2027, the console market will look completely different. Not because Sony or Microsoft failed, but because Valve built something they couldn't compete with. An ecosystem that just works everywhere on everything. The future isn't about console generations, it's about platform ecosystems, and Valve just launched the one that matters. If you appreciated this analysis, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.